Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Tuesday afternoon, which happens to also be Positive Tuesday, which is rare. So I wanted to throw that out there. I hope you have your cup of coffee ready. You are focused, taking down some notes, questions, comments. We want to hear from you. These are created ultimately for our agents. So, you know, the name of the game is bigger and better for us here at Levinson, and of course these webinar trainings. So if you have any information we want to hear, good, bad, and different, there's a question box in the bottom right corner. You can type in anything that you want to share with us, and we'll do our best to answer all of your questions and comments. Worst comes to worst, we will answer as soon as we wrap up the webinar. Also, we're going to have our question of the day. So when we are done with today's presentation, right before 3 p.m. Eastern, we're going to ask a question that has to do with the slides we're about to go over. And if you answer first incorrectly, we'll announce your name and you win the brand new Amazon Fire tablets. We will mail that out this week. But of course, you have to have your little fingers on the little keys on your keyboard, and you have to answer quick and accurately. So we'll announce your name. Hopefully it's you, and just sit tight, relax. Make sure you're jotting down notes because, like I said twice already, the answer to that question is in these upcoming slides. Okay, so 100-foot overview on today's training is we're getting a lot of emails, questions, comments on IUL training. Okay, so we wanted to spend at least 30 to 40 minutes with one of our top IUL carriers today, which happens to be Life of the Southwest. Great company, IUL with living benefits. They stand alone at the top when it comes to life insurance products with living benefits, and you're going to see why in just a few more minutes. I'm also going to mention they were one of the first carriers to approve the SAGE Scholarship Program, which we have an exclusive contract with SAGE for this platform. As a Levinson agent, as long as you're appointed under us with LSW, you get full free access with the LSW product. So that's another added benefit. Also, with our Stonewood IUL sales platform, they were one of the first carriers to be approved on that platform as well. Both available exclusively through Levinson. We're going to also dive into those two platforms before we wrap up. I would say probably 10 to 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll dive into the two platforms. My point is make sure you are set up and running, okay? Because these are two value add propositions that you can bring to your consumers as a differentiator. So especially in the IUL space, when you're dealing with a young professional, and this is the perfect product, say for retirement savings, cash accumulation, living benefits that pay while you're still alive, that combined with a free scholarship for children or grandchildren is a slam dunk, okay? And we're giving you the technology and presentation software to bring this to a client or a seminar or a go-to meeting, whatever the case is. So there's no excuse. It's almost like a 1-2 punch. Okay, so moving forward, we have Joseph Loughran joining us. We also have our LSW VP, John, is on, and then we have an IUL expert also joining us from the home office. So you're going to hear from everyone, and like I said, a few more minutes. What I want to do first is discuss real quick. We just got in this 5-star review, and I think it's so important. You know, and if you've been with us for a while, you've heard me talking about Insure Me Now Direct. It's the Amazon for insurance. It's changing the game. Yes, all of that is true, but I want to set a clear defining line here. So I believe, in my opinion, all of the smaller life insurance policies, okay, when we're talking about final expense, burial, $100,000 term product, supplemental products like cancer, critical illness, accident. We have a hospital indemnity plan that agents are using to open doors. And they're basically saying, hey, you know, everybody's concerned with COVID-19. Well, you should purchase a policy in case you're hospitalized. So anyway, we have the product now with SureBridge. It's direct to consumer on this platform. Most of these policies, in my opinion, are going to be purchased online, just like Amazon. So as you know, we built Insure Me Now Direct. It is the first and only direct to consumer platform that was built for agents, meaning you, the agent, get full commission plus renewals when that product applies, okay? But obviously, all commissions are just like as if you were meeting with a client face-to-face. There's no difference. You, by now, should have your Insure Me Now Direct site up and running. It's free. It'll have your picture, your name, your logo. If you do not, let us know. We'll get you up and running. This is a review that came in yesterday, and I'm so excited about this because, as you know, this is a dream come true for me. It's now 7 years we've been working on this. We had one carrier for so many years. Today we have 6 and over 16 different products. Anyway, had to share this. I'm going to read it real quick from Nick P. I just completed my first Insure Me Now Direct e-application using my free website with a client in the Haven Life Term product. It took only 10 minutes to complete and was issued in less than an hour. Drafted the initial premium too and getting paid quickly. This is a game changer system and highly recommended way to do business virtually, especially right now during COVID-19. The team at Levinson & Associates handled my contracting seamlessly and even followed up after the sale to see if I needed anything else. Amazing. Bill and his team are my IMO of choice for my agency and highly recommend they be yours too with a 5-star review. Now, you couldn't pay for better marketing than this, okay? I had to share this. You know, I think, in fact, Nick is on the webinar with us today. But when someone reaches out like this and just shares their experience, okay, oh, of course, we love to see that it's a positive one, but I love other agents to see this because, you know, you hear from us all day long, and yes, we're saying our platform is the best, blah, 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 but when you hear it from another agent that's just like you out there in the field, I think that means everything, okay? So the point behind this is I don't care if you're selling $100 million estate planning IULs or you're in the final expense market or mortgage protection market, you need to have Insure Me Now Direct, which is like Amazon for insurance. You need to have your site up and running, okay? And if a lead comes in and someone says, hey, by the way, I'm interested in the IUL with living benefits, the new kind of life insurance, obviously you can pivot that call over to LSW. This is not meant for $1 million estate planning IUL, let's say, or for any IUL for that matter. So anyway, use this to create the sizzle. If you sell a product, great. If not, you wind up pivoting to an LSW product, that's fine too, okay? In fact, if we go in that direction, that's even better because obviously that'll be a case that's, you know, $500, $600, $700 a premium versus, you know, 30, 40, 50 bucks. But the point is, this will open the door. I would be marketing all over social media. I would put a YouTube video together for free. I would be e-blasting this all over the place, network with small businesses, associations. We can co-brand the platform just for them. Anything sold on the platform, you get full credit for. And by the way, we're adding another new product I just found out in the term space that'll go higher than $1 million. So more to come with Insure Me Now Direct. Okay, now we have a COVID-19 updates folder on our site. We are literally updating in real-time fashion as everything comes in. As you know, things are getting better. Here's what I love about the COVID-19 folder. By the way, when you open your dashboard, you'll see it highlighted in yellow right on the top, and then we have it broken down by carrier. But if you focus on the right side, look at in green. Look at the carrier that has 0 changes and has stood by their promise since day one. Okay, and by the way, we didn't just do this for the webinar. Okay, if you go to your folder, it's there right now. In green, you have National Life Group Life of the Southwest. 0 changes, folks. In fact, they only changed for the better with better technology and better underwriting results and better the streamlined e-application. So things are getting better. And then when you look to the left side, I hate to say this, but most of the carriers out there in the insurance space have went in the opposite direction. So as you know, things are getting better now, but I wanted to highlight that little green section there with LSW. Okay, moving forward, what we also did is we have a non-med chart that we put together. Now, this is for all agents working from home or even post-COVID-19. You need to know where to go when you're on the phone with a lead or a hot prospect. If you want to sell over the phone with an e-app or drop ticket, you need to know what the maximum issue amounts are for non-med underwriting and the maximum issue ages. And we always want to steer you in the right direction. So anyway, we have this quick, easy to use chart. And again, focus on the center of the chart. You'll see LSW highlighted in green with a max face amount of 3 million non-med. That is huge. Okay, that's the second best carrier that we have. Okay, plus that combined with the free Sage Scholarship Program and the Stonewood IUL presentation platform, that's a 1-2 punch, folks. And we didn't even get started yet, and I think you can see the direction that we're heading with today's training. Okay, Joe, let's move forward. We're going to introduce our guest speakers. We have Mr. John Lovejoy, our VP at LSW, joining us, and he's going to dive in, sit back, relax, take notes, and we'll be back with you in about 20, 30, 40 minutes or so. John, you there?
Thank you, Bill. And
yep.
Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to meet with you again this week, twice in 2 weeks. We feel very honored, and we appreciate this opportunity to partner up with our friends at the Levinson Agency. And thank you, Bill, so much for this opportunity. Hope you had a chance to listen to the presentation last week where we talked about the distribution solution. We got a lot of positive feedback from that. And this week, what we wanted to do was to share a little bit of our IUL story. And as we take a look under the hood this week, we want to be able to have a conversation around what it is that we're doing at National Life and LSW that is showing these difficult times as actually being very positive times for our business. Sales are up. Our app count is way up. And I think a good reason for that is, as Bill mentioned, we haven't had any changes that were considered negative. The only changes we've made have been to make doing business easier for you as agents as we all find our way through this COVID-19 situation. So we've made numerous changes in order to help you stay in business, stay in contact with your clients, and we appreciate your business. We welcome all the business that you can send. We have a full menu of products, term, whole life, and IUL. Today we're going to talk specifically about our Flex Life IUL. For those of you that are fairly new to us, National Life is the third oldest mutual company in business and over 170 years old. Last year was a mile marker year for us as we celebrated 17 decades under the National Life LSW umbrella. 20 years ago, LSW came into the fold as we purchased the LSW Life of the Southwest Company, brought over a very exciting annuity story, as well as built out our presence in the brokerage market. So things have really unfolded very well today as we've grown in the brokerage arena. Just again, to take a look at our business highlights, I want you to know that not only is business good, business is healthy and it's strong. We're growing in a balanced fashion and are getting strong ratings. Our ratings have been affirmed by the
John.
Yes, sir.
John, this is Bill.
Yes,
I don't know if you're on a headset or a Bluetooth, but it's going in and out. I don't know if you have a handset you can pick up.
Absolutely, yes. Let's give that a shot here.
Sorry about that, everyone.
All right, let's see if that's a little bit better. Yeah, headsets are great.
Much better.
When they work. Okay. Thank you for interrupting, Bill. I appreciate that big time. So as you take a look at our growth story, we're not going to cover a lot of time here, but just know this is available. We'll be happy to send this to Team Levinson at the conclusion of the program today. But we want you to know we're growing, healthy, and strong, and we are honoring the promises that we're making. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to my partner, Neandre, and we're going to have a conversation today centered around Flex Life IUL and talk to you about some of the exciting bells and whistles, the features that make this a industry-leading product. Neandre?
Thanks, John, and thanks, Bill, as well. Kind of teed it up, as we talk about the reason why we've been successful and what's continuing to resonate, it's just advancements, and which is why we've been able to move up to be the number 2 IUL company in the industry, and we finished out number 9 last year of all life insurance companies. When I started at National Life Group 6 years ago, we were number 17. Right, so seeing the growth that we've had over the last number of years, just based on being innovative, I think really speaks to why we're here today. Bill used one of the things that I love to talk about: the old school versus the new school, the old kind versus the new kind. When you look at insurance today, you got to make sure that your clients have the new kind, right? Not the kind that just covers you when you pass away, but the kind that covers you if you get sick along the way, having living benefits. But also, a lot of times people forget about a living benefit that is actually your cash accumulation value and using that to pay out. We've got a nifty way to turn to a lifetime stream of income, similar to what you're used to on an annuity basis. We can do that through your IUL product, right? So really looking at the new school versus the old school, making sure that you have all the updates and the bells and whistles to it, is really what we want to focus on today with the Flex Life IUL. Just a quick little agenda. We'll talk about our solutions. We'll talk about the living benefits, and then we'll wrap up with some additional marketing materials right before I throw it back to Joe and Bill. As mentioned, this pandemic has done some things for the industry that some might not be able to recover from. But what we've been able to do in this is continue to pivot and push ourselves forward from a technology perspective. One of the ways that we did that is we increased our easy underwriting limits on our permanent products from $2 million to $3 million. So looking at the product that we're talking about today, the Flex Life IUL, taking that bad boy from a $2 million easy underwriting up to elite rate classes and moving that up to $3 million for the IUL for the whole life to be able to help agents to get clients their policies quicker. We've increased our remote applications to say, if you can take the application remote, we'll take it, right? If the client is 75 and you can take that application remote, we'll take it. If the face amount is $8 million, you can take that application remote, we'll take it. So no limitations on the amount of the face amount. It still falls into the easy underwriting parameters. If the client is over the age of 65 or the face amount's over $3 million, we can still do that. We'll just have to go through our full medical underwriting process. And one last thing to note on that, some additional differences through this time, is the fact that we are not limiting individuals who have policies with us that can track the COVID virus. Their living benefits will still pay out if their virus leads them to qualifying for the living benefits that we'll talk about here in the future. So just because they can track the virus does not eliminate them from being able to tap into the benefits that we put on their policy. We're all about keeping the promise, and that would not be a way to keep the promise. So we put our foot in the sand, made a line in the sand, and say, no, we are going to pay out if that client passes away from the virus, or if they having the virus has turned into a qualification for a living benefit down the line, we will allow for them to use that. And then the last thing of an additional living benefit is the lifetime benefit rider, which I will spend a little bit more time on today. But again, imagine you put all this money, you've accumulated all of this value in your IUL policy. Why not be able to turn that into a lifetime stream of income? Because you've been putting so much money to it over time that you can't outlive, it won't lapse the policy, and it comes out to you tax-free. And we'll talk about that here in a little while. That lifetime income benefit rider is a niche in the market. It is something that you're not going to get outside of a handful of places, and to be able to have that at an A-rated carrier, the number 2 IUL company in the industry, plus the full living benefits on there, definitely puts you guys in a special realm. So to dig a little bit deeper into the product, right? Basic aspects of it: 50,000 minimum. We have 4 bands on it, and the bands, just for those that understand it, just making sure that if you're close to a band, you may be able to get your client a price break if you go over that, right? So we have 250,000 as one band. right under $1 million as one band and right under $2 million as another band. So just keeping that in mind, the different price breaks in regards to getting your clients these policies. This policy comes with a guaranteed account value enhancement. So we're going to put a kicker on there, a multiplier that's going to start in year 6. No questions asked. Everybody's policy comes with this. It is a multiplier of 10% against their accumulation value, not to exceed 75 basis points or 75 an additional 75 points on that particular crediting, right? So just knowing, how can we help the client to accumulate over time when we look at this product for the accumulation side of it, having that balance between accumulation and protection. Just knowing that there's an inner working in there to help boost your client's income or accumulation value as they're going through this, and it begins in year 6 on this particular product. There is a minimum credited rate of 2%. So if the market is poor for a number of for all these years, and the client were to get 0 for all these straight years, we basically do a minimum 2% credit on that just to get their cash value moving forward. There is a charge on this for 25 years, so the account value charge is 0.3% for 25 years, and then also the unit loads on this for a smoker are 10 years, and then for a non-smoker are 10 years, and for a smoker are 15 years. Really, the reason why I wanted to put that in there is so you can kind of know from a fee structure perspective, our goal is to get this thing, when we're talking about long-term accumulation growth, get this thing paid off, get those loads off of there early so the client can really benefit from the accumulation on the back end. So just wanted to throw those out there for you, knowing that the easy underwriting, again, is $3 million up to age 50, 51 to 60 is up to $1 million, 61 to 65 is up to $250,000, and these are using easy underwriting, non-med underwriting that will get you up to elite rate classes. So we go all the way up to elite, all the way to substandard in this aspect, using non-medical underwriting. We're right now, for clients that fit within that space, under that $3 million, under the $1 million, under $250 based on their age breakdowns, we're at about a 65% automatic straight through processing, right? So looking at the majority, the bulk of those, and our goal is to get to 75% by the end of this year. So we're looking at how can we take the data that we have, get the policies quickest to you, get the policies quickest to your agent, to your client, and get it paid out as quick as possible. Next, looking at the accumulation, right? So a lot of people go into the IUL focused on growing the cash value within that, right? And so why not offer them as many ways as possible to grow that cash value, giving them that downside protection. So as the market does, as it did to start the year off, and clients like myself lost 30 to 40% in our 401k over a 4-week period. Having my money in my IUL and seeing that my IUL is going to come out at 0 floor in that instance provides me a lot more peace of mind. And then also having strategies that not only have a cap, but also have a strategy that have no cap, such as our Credit Suisse Balanced Trend and our Hang Seng portfolio, where the client can have that 0 floor, but also take advantage of the upswings in the market. Having options for our client has been huge in getting this product to be the successful industry leading product that it is. We also have a 1% floor strategy. So instead of 0 being your hero, if your client allocates to that, 1 is your hero, right? So just looking at all the options that they have in their accumulation along the way by giving the client more crediting choices. Now this is really what makes this product such a great solution for so many people and sell so much. I guess you can equate it to like a Swiss Army knife, right? You have it at all times, and when you need different things about it, you can get different aspects out of it for your different situations that arise. This particular product is built on additional riders that can help the client, additional protection benefit, right? Ways to dial down the cost. So if you're looking at maybe mortgage protection or those kind of things where the client is looking to fit, a square peg in a round hole, how can we help them by driving down some of that cost to get them the protection that they need in that time? Policy benefit rider that works for business owners, works for premium financing, to where if you want to be able to get some of that early cash access early on, we have a rider that can help with that. So that way the cash value is more accessible. We can maneuver some surrender charges early on so that client can actually access that cash value at an earlier point. Again, that works really, really good with the premium finance space. The OPR, benefit distribution option, we'll talk a little bit of time on as well, to be able to do true income replacement for a beneficiary. Systematic allocation, lifetime income rider, the LIBOR. I will talk about that more in depth, but again, that's how we can take the accumulation value and turn it into a lifetime stream of income. The living benefits, waiver of premium, charitable matching gift rider, which I'll spend some time on as well for those that have a cause and want to leave a legacy. We can help them with that. And child's term rider I'll focus on here in just a little bit as well. So just wanted to highlight some of the things that we'll get into, but knowing this product is so successful because it's so useful for a wide array of different clients. And I know you as agents have such a wide spectrum of clients that you come into contact with. Some are business owners, some are looking for protection, some are looking for accumulation, some are looking from a short-term perspective and a long-term perspective. And so being able to have something that you can maneuver with helps you even the more to be able to really provide solutions to all the clients that you come into contact with. The first thing I'm going to talk about is going to be our charitable matching gift rider. All right, this is a rider that allows the client that really wants to leave a legacy. And you know what, John, talk about the opportunity that our agent had in regards to working with nonprofits and getting in the door using this.
Well, thank you, Andre. This is a door opener. It's a conversation starter. If we think about how many agencies are looking for ways to get access to high-end prospects, how many charitable organizations are out there that are looking for ways to grow funds? And this charitable gift matching rider is a door opener, because if you're looking for charities that need contributions, we're one of the few companies that have a rider that will basically, at the time of death, take a selected percentage that you selected at the time of the app, up to 2%, up to a maximum of $1.5 million face amount. That would be 2% of that would be $30,000. When the client elects the charity on the application, then that first $30,000 of death benefits, when paid, comes off the top and goes to that charity of choice, and then is matched by the National Life Foundation. So that becomes a $60,000 contribution. So this has been used by a number of agents around the country that have put on, we had a situation in Louisville where we actually made a presentation to a group at a hospital, and basically like 5 o'clock in the morning, brought coffee and donuts and had a chance to talk to them about the charitable gift matching rider, and how perhaps we might get some opportunities to present that to people that have a soft spot for the Kidney Foundation or COSARES or anything like that. So this is unique. This can be a great prospecting tool by itself. And as I mentioned, we're one of the few companies that have it, and it's a free rider. So I've had great success using it as a lead program, not just another bell on a policy. If you use it, you can turn it into a great source of prospecting.
So the charitable gift rider, again, up to 2%, up to $30,000, comes out of National Life Foundation. Just free money for that person that wants to leave that legacy. And like John said, it's definitely opening a lot of doors for people that are looking to prospect new client spaces. We also have the benefit distribution option, or the BDO, which the BDO is basically a way for a spouse or a business owner to do true income replacement when they pass away. Right. So knowing that you don't want to leave a lump sum of $1 million to those children that are going to blow through that in 2 weeks, they can, the beneficiary, the insured can add the benefit distribution option. And what it will do is it's going to pay out that death benefit over a time period of time between 10 years and 30 years. So it allows them to do true income replacement to say, hey, I want to pay a portion of this death benefit when I die, and then the remaining of it goes out to my spouse over the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, however they want to elect that. Now, they must elect this at issue. Again, this is one of those things that, once we're going through the application, they want to talk about it beforehand. It's something that we can add. It cannot be changed once the policy is issued, okay? What can be changed is the beneficiary, or who that money goes to. What cannot be changed is the method of how it goes out. So, if they want to change who receives it for that 10-year period, they can, but they cannot change the fact that it's a 10-year period. Again, this benefit distribution option, it's optional, and it does allow for true income replacement for those who are looking for that to really replace the person versus just giving a lump sum when they pass away. So knowing that you have the benefit distribution option available.
Neandre, I kind of tee this up as a paycheck from the grave. How many stories have we heard where, people have won the lottery or come into a large sum of money and then ended up in worse financial, straits, within a couple of years. This is an opportunity to make sure that the funds come in each and every month for, as you said, up to 30 years. It's peace of mind. It's a paycheck from the grave. There's certainly the family side of this conversation where this is important, but also be thinking about this as part of an approach to a buy-sell, to where perhaps half of the money might come in order to provide cash flow to the business at the time of a key employee's death, but also the other half it might make sense to spread that out over a 10, 15, or 20-year business. Maybe it's a family business, and so you need to have the certainty of some cash flow over a defined benefit period. So there's lots of different ways to tee this up, but as you mentioned, Neandre, the key thing is you can only select it at the time of application.
Yes, sir. Great lead in with the buy-sell. Another great example of how to use this. And then the last rider we'll talk about before we dive into our LIBOR is the child's term rider, knowing you can cover 6 kids with one rider. As long as the child is under the age of 16 and healthy at issue or not born yet, we will give them guaranteed convertibility to a permanent policy up to 6 times what that child term rider is. So with the child term rider being a max of $25,000, they're able to guarantee their children once they convert out, guarantee that child that they can get at least $150,000 of permanent coverage without evidence of insurability. So great opportunity to take care of a full family for pennies on the dollar, as we like to say, by adding the child's term rider. Again, it covers up to age 16. You can convert out up to age 25 once they are covered on that policy.
And the cool thing with this too is it's not converted to a garbage product. This is converted to our street product, right. And that would also have the opportunity for living benefits as well. So another key point of recommending this when you're sitting with your customer.
Absolutely, great point, John. So we talked about a few of the riders, gift rider. We talked about the child's term rider. We talked about the other riders that make this kind of the Swiss Army knife approach. Now I want to focus in a little bit more on a couple of the greater nuances on this thing. One of those being the lifetime income benefit rider. The old kind versus the new kind. When we saw that image there, one of those puzzle pieces was what happens if I live too long. Right, clients are living longer. In regards to retirement planning, they might have planned to retire and live for 15 years, but they're living for 25 and 30 years in retirement. What can we do to help them to afford to live that long? Well, this lifetime income benefit rider offers them guarantee after guarantee after guarantee. The tax-free death benefit, so if they died, whatever the remaining benefit is, not to be less than $15,000, will pay out to their beneficiaries. It is a guaranteed paycheck for life. So once they turn it on, it's paying for life. It's guaranteed to keep the policy in force. So it won't, if the policy goes out of force, and that's when they have to pay taxes, it's guaranteed to keep the policy in force so the client can know that it's going to be a tax-free benefit. No annual loan paperwork. So using this, knowing that, you know, if you're working with cash value or accumulation products and the client turns the income on, you're looking at, you know, every year I got to tap, you know, turn on, or every year I'm doing variable loans, I got to request a loan, that kind of thing. This allows you to just turn it on and not have to do any more loan paperwork. So taking that aspect out of the equation. It won't lapse, won't make any more premiums. And again, you can live your retirement and knowing that you will have this check coming for the rest of your life. Easy way to consider how it works. Over time, you put money in, it accumulates, your death benefit accumulates, your cash value accumulates. Once you turn this thing on, you will have a level or increasing. You can do an increasing aspect, and it will go. Your cash value will come down. Your death benefit will come down. And you see after about 15 years of that payment, you in essence then beat the system. Retirement is now looking at around 20-something odd years. So most individuals are going to get past that point, right? So we can allow them to get a lifetime income that now is going to reduce that policy all the way down to $15,000. Policy will not pay out anything less than $15,000, and their cash value will not be anything less than $1,000. So that's the floor on this, to make sure that we keep the policy in force and they keep getting that lifetime income. If they reach that point, then we take that and we, National Life Group, pays the premium to keep that policy in force. In order to use this rider, so this rider is on everybody's policy. Any flex life policy, the rider is there. Client doesn't pay for it unless they use it, right? So if we want to activate the rider, client must be between the ages of 60 and 85 to turn it on. Policy must have been enforced for 10 years with no outstanding policy loans on the policy at that time, and it must meet the maximum death benefit ratio. And basically what that's saying is they must have overfunded this enough to have enough cash in here for this to work. Once they turn it on, there is a 65 basis point rider charge that begins at that point that is already net of the illustration. So what we show them, in regards to you will get this paycheck of $10,000 per year, you will get that paycheck of $10,000 per year. So it's already taxes that have already been equated, or the rider charge, have already been input into the equation there. All right, that is the lifetime benefit rider. Again, taking their income or their accumulation value, turning it into a tax-free stream of income that the client cannot outlive, similar to what you're used to on an annuity product. Next up, we'll talk about the living benefits, right? Bill hit it on the head in regards to how we kind of stand alone in this space. We've got 4 levels: terminal, chronic illness, critical illness, and critical injury. When we look at how we fit on the current landscape, again, knowing that our terminal is 24 months, knowing that we'll potentially pay with terminal up to 100% of the death benefit, up to $1.5 million, having chronic, having critical illness, and having critical injury, which is special to National Life Group, is a way for you to have the upper hand in regards to having conversations and really soliciting based off of living benefits. Not to spend too much time on each one, but again, 24 months for terminal versus the normal 12 months. Terminal is accessible tomorrow if they get the policy today, and it pays out in a lump sum. We don't care what you use the money for. As long as you qualify, we'll send you a check. And that's up to $1.5 million on terminal. Chronic is your ongoing payment. It's meant to be for a particular period of time. It is not required that the individual is terminally or permanently disabled. As long as they can't do 2 out of 6 activities of daily living at that time, or they have a cognitive impairment, we can and they can qualify for this, then we can go ahead and begin paying them out. This has a 30-day delay. So, as long as the client has been in the policy for 30 days, they can now utilize this chronic illness benefit. And again, it's meant to be an ongoing payment, so we can pay them yearly or annually. They can, or annually or monthly with the check that comes, and the maximum benefit on chronic is $1.5 million. Okay, so terminal 24 months, chronic illness. They get an ongoing payment based on them not being able to perform 2 out of 6 ADLs. Critical illness, which most of your living benefit claims come into critical illness. heart attack, stroke, cancer, major organ, ALS, right? And so this one is probably what most people are a little bit more accustomed to. But again, having 13 different triggers in critical illness, and it pays out based on severity level. Life-threatening, obviously, is going to pay the highest, versus minor pays the lowest amount. And there's only a 30-day waiting period. So as long as the policy is being enforced for 30 days, the client can access the critical illness payout opportunity. And then last one, again, something that's a little special for you, critical injury, coma, paralysis, severe burns, and traumatic brain injury. It also pays out on severity levels. One thing that I will say about critical injury, it is not discriminatory based off of your occupation. So first responders, doctors, individuals that are in the military, and those kind of things, critical injury is still accessible for them. So if a firefighter goes off and falls from the second floor on a call and he's now paralyzed from the waist down, he may be able to qualify for the critical injury rider that would pay him out a portion of his death benefit, right? And so using this as leverage in those situations, because you have a little extra in the critical injury space as well, and knowing, the critical injury, critical illness, the max payout on those is going to be $1 million in regards to their payout.
Leandro, that's a great point. If I could just expand on one thing with that critical injury, if you can go back there one slide, you can turn this into a marketing program. If you look at those qualifying conditions, the coma, paralysis, severe burns, traumatic brain injury, think about some groups that may be a significant factor to. How about a motorcycle club? How about, as Leandro mentioned, the fire departments? They could be athletes. But if you find one, you can find a nest. And so you have the ability to where you can take our critical injury living benefit and basically turn that into a back office coffee and donuts or buy pizza or whatever, but you can have a chance to visit with that group and initiate a conversation that is centered around living benefits, specifically critical injury, and how that can benefit them, God forbid, if they have a motorcycle accident, for example. I gave up motorcycle riding, but I did it for years. But, back when I rode, you had to have a helmet. Today, you don't have to. So if you lay that thing down, you're most likely going to have a significant injury. So these are groups that are aware, and they might be open to hearing about this benefit. So critical injury can be a great marketing tool, a great door opener. So think about some ways that you can market that.
And again, just bring it all together, how it works. We allow, as long as the person qualifies, we don't care what they use the money for. It's not necessarily have to be in the form of payback indemnity. We will just issue them a check, and it's not all or nothing. So if they get an offer, they want to take a portion of it, they can keep a portion of their death benefit intact. So if you take, some of the living benefit that you offer, you can keep some of your policy in force and some of your cash value there. So that's another thing, keeping in mind that they don't have to use all of it. They can use a portion and keep their policy intact. So we talked about the living benefits, the 4 levels: terminal, critical illness, critical injury, chronic illness. We talked about the lifetime income benefit rider and using that to basically turn their accumulation value into a lifetime stream of income to help with the retirement picture. We also talked about all of the additional riders that come with that, just giving the flexibility and the true reason why this particular product, this Flex Life IUL, sells so much in the industry, because it can provide a solution to so many different people with so many different needs. I'll finish up one thing, in regards to just the opportunity here. We've made it simple for you to tell the story to the client, right? So you do your illustration. This is page 2 of the illustration that basically walks them through, why am I putting my money into this policy, and what am I going to get out of it, and how much money am I putting in? And really using this to help bring that story full circle is really, really a great aspect of having page 2 of the illustration and basically kind of beefing that up for you to be able to really be able to bring it all home for the client. We also have a newly updated IUL e-kit. And I know, speaking with Joe, you guys have utilized a lot of this internally as well. Just knowing that these are things that we're continuing to update, so where we can provide you guys the resources that are necessary to continue to have what you need to be successful with using this product. We also have an IUL indexing e-kit to help you and your clients better understand the crediting options, better understand how they work, the volatility, the zero floor, all of those things. So really helping to be able to tell that story, not just to you as the agent, but also stuff that your clients can use as well. Don't forget about the app. We have our mobile app. The mobile app that we have for the agent allows for you to run quick quotes for the IUL for the whole life and for the IUL for the term right there on the phone. That allow you to get a quick quote there. You can save it and then you can get onto your agent portal and do the full illustration there. You can keep up with your new business, know where your cases are along the path. Just allows you to handle your business a little bit better. There's a number of different notifications you can turn on, so that way as cases go through the new business process, as updates come out for the carrier, you can get them up-to-the-minute information on that as well. So definitely, if you're on the Apple Store or the Google Play, just look up National Life Group and download the Agent app in order to get access to that. In closing, I know we've kind of gone through a lot here today in this amount of time, but again, just wanted to reiterate to you, this product, this whole situation is meant to provide the full puzzle, provide the full solution for our clients, so that way they're not only covered if they died like the old kind does, but they're also covered if they get sick along the way from a number of different ways. When you look at the 4 levels and all the different parameters within that, we're looking at over about 20 different ways that these clients can tap into living benefits. Also looking at if they live too long, we can help them with their retirement picture with the same product. You don't have to go and get 4 or 5 different products. You can do everything that you need to do with one solution, and our solution for that is the Flex Life IUL. Don't hesitate. We've also got not only myself and John doing this, but we've got a team of 25 internal sales associates that are doing daily trainings as well. We've got 3 this week in regards to the IUL, right? And so looking at illustration training, more into the living benefits and into the crediting strategies, just knowing that we're here to continue the ongoing training and resources that you guys need in order to be successful in your business with your clients and partnering with National Life Group or LSW. With that, I'm kicking it back to you, John, and then I'll let you pass it back to Bill.
Thank you so much, Neandre. And this is an exciting story. Again, there may be some companies out there that have a couple of these benefits, but I haven't found another company that can do it all, that has a complete story, truly the Swiss Army knife approach. And that's one of the reasons that our product is doing so well in the market today, is it's built strong, it's built versatile. And then when you add in the ability to get easy underwriting and quick issue, that business is moving, and we thank you for your business. We welcome more business. Bill, I thank you so much for the opportunity to visit again with our friends at Levinson today. We really appreciate it.
Yep, no, that was great, John. Thank you so much. What I want to do now is shift gears a little bit, and just a quick FYI, if you are appointed already with LSW, not through Levinson, take advantage. Obviously, if you sign up through us, you get to leverage the scholarship program, the Stonewood IUL presentation software, and all of the other tools, plus cash for contracting or leads for contracting with your first application. So basically transfer over, write your first app, you get cash for contracting or leads for contracting when your app is placed, and you're off to the races. So we'll send out those flyers in today's thank you email you'll receive by the end of the business day. If you don't receive that email from us, please let us know. We have your wrong email address, or it's sitting in your junk folder, but please call if you don't receive it by the end of today. Okay, what I want to do now is show you how to generate your own IUL leads. And once you have them, what type of platforms can you leverage by closing the IUL sale. So Joe's going to dive in real quick. Most of our agents don't even know all of this stuff is available to you. And then I'm going to take it back. We'll have our question of the day and we'll get this wrapped up. Joe?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So I'm going to send out a couple things this afternoon to all attendees, including everything we covered today, and then some really great IUL sales opportunities. You know, of course, a lot of clients who cannot contribute to a tax-deductible traditional IRA or Roth IRAs due to income limitations, like business owners. Great plan for retirement, key man, buy, sell. Clients who want those living benefits are prime people to kind of speak to about some of these great opportunities. And then, of course, clients who want downside protection with upside potential. So also using after-tax RMDs to fund the annual premium to kind of make sure there's a legacy in place for all the beneficiaries. We've got a great bunch of marketing material that covers every single one of these sales ideas. And I'm also going to dive into one platform that we built specifically for IUL sales called the IUL Experience. You can actually go right to this website. I will send you the link this afternoon, but this includes everything IUL, including sales software, consumer material presentation, in-depth training videos to learn how to sell IUL, how the IUL product works. We even have a breakdown of all the carriers' products and even some of the scholarship platforms that are exclusive to Levinson agents you can use in conjunction with any of those LSW products that have cash value. So real quickly here, National Life Group, like Bill mentioned, part of the sales software where you can actually plug in specific client information and see a customized presentation on not only how to present the IUL product, but kind of give that client the downside scenario, showing them worst case scenario with all the volatility in the market and how that IUL is going to stand up for all those changes down the road. So on your next IUL case, definitely reach out to the marketing team. We can run those custom proposals and give you this presentation to help you present that IUL product to your client. In doing so, we're seeing a lot of agents that traditionally sell a lot of IUL have a much higher closing ratio because they're using this custom approach that's specific to their client versus just looking at an IUL brochure. So this is something that really helps you make the sale. Also, when it comes to marketing the IUL product, consumer material and presentations, we have all sorts of info directly on this website that you can download. You can customize something we call campaign in a box, which will actually give you grab and go promotions on prospecting, client letters, videos, you name it. We have it on the IUL Experience for you to actually jump in and use and customize for your specific situation. Also, an awesome training platform for you to be able to go in and learn about not just how the IUL works, but also planning approaches that will fit your specific client needs. So whether it's income replacement, asset accumulation, business protection, wealth transfer, retirement planning, even executive benefits, there's all sorts of different uses for the IUL product besides just retirement protection and building cash value for down the road. So definitely take advantage of this website. We've spent hours and hours putting together all the material to make sure that you have access to all those great presentations, training, sales strategies. And keep in mind, I can't stress enough how important it is to dive into this scholarship platform. This could literally make the difference if you're in a competitive scenario between you winning the case and not, by being able to show that client how they can save up to 25% of college tuition at about 413 plus colleges across the country. Extremely powerful platform. We have all sorts of consumer material, videos, trifold brochures. We even incorporate this scholarship platform into your custom agent website so that when you're prospecting and driving clients to your website, they can learn more about how you as their agent have this exclusive platform to be able to show them how they can save money on college education. So really one of a kind system to be able to help you write more business. Also, when it comes to leads, we have an awesome IUL prospecting book. There's actually 2 books you can access. You can actually give this to a qualified prospect where they can read the book and understand specifically how cash value products work. And it really helps do all the selling for you and kind of plant the seed when it comes to how IUL can be used. And agents are buying these by maybe 10, 15, 20 at a time and actually sending them out to their clients. The idea is they read this, they reach back out to you and say, hey, I love this product. I want to set up something for retirement planning or college savings or any other one of the dozen uses for IUL. The goal is to have this book educate them on exactly how that works. On the right-hand side, we have an awesome live transfer lead program. If you are looking for live transfer leads, we have a system which literally makes your phone ring, and it's a qualified prospect where you can actually dive in and make that sale. I'll send out some additional details on that this afternoon. And also, before I hand it back over to Bill here, IUL leads and prospecting, we have a tool called Agency Automator, which will literally allow you to go in, pick your zip code, let's say pick a 30-mile radius from your office. You can sort through different demographic information to actually pick the specific net worth, income, all sorts of demographic information. Maybe someone you want to sort by their credit rating, or if they're married, if they have children, and you can actually market the IUL product. We have all those templates already preloaded into the system. This will give you their name, phone number, email address, physical address, and all their demographic information, so you can jump in and actually market to those clients that are going to be the prime demographic looking for that IUL type sale. So great system to use. Again, that's called Agency Automator. And before I hand it over to Bill, my last slide here is on premium finance resources. We've done some awesome premium finance cases with LSW. So if you want to learn more, definitely check out the premium finance page. We've got in-depth training to show you how to leverage that to kind of uncover some new business. And I'll be sending that link out this afternoon as well.
Okay, thanks, Joe. So I'm going to move real quick. We have about 2 minutes left. The Bill Levinson Experience podcast. I hope by now you have listened. If not, please jump in. Our latest episode with Ken French. He is a social marketing and website pro for insurance agents. So you can literally set up a one-on-one interview with him. I want you to pick his brain a little bit, listen to the episode. Also, if you're into IUL, we handpicked Joe Ross. If you look at the top section there, 3 over from the right side, he's an IUL, in my opinion, the top training coach in the industry. So we dive into IUL and other hot products. Listen to his episode. I can't recommend that one enough. Let's move forward here real quick. I was talking about Ken French. So we have 3 platforms now for marketing and spreading the IUL and living benefit word so you can gain new prospects and clients. So anyway, real quick, we basically co-op a platform just for our agents. And for $99 a month, there's no contract, there's no activation. You get a professional WordPress website that has all the buttons built in. It includes your one-on-one interview with Ken and all 3 social media platforms. They post Monday through Friday on your behalf, and then they have a full turnkey marketing library. So you can literally sit back and they do everything for you for $99 a month. So that's pennies. That website alone is about $5,000 that you're saving. So check that out when you get a chance. Or if you just want the social media part, that's fine too. I think it's $59. But you're not going to find any pricing that's close to that. So I can't stress it enough. I would run with that. You, especially right now, you have to rely on your website and social media to spread the word that, hey, you know, I'm in South Florida. I need a go-to for insurance. You want them thinking Bill Levinson or Shelley Smith or, you know, whatever your town is and your name, you want them to know you like the back of their hand. That's the goal. And this is the way to spread the word. Okay, our upcoming agent training events, real quick, you've seen these Monday to Friday, all of our agency automator topics. You can listen in 2 p.m. On the bottom there, Legacy Armor. That's a huge door opener, especially for IUL. Gives you an opportunity to sit down with your client, load all their information into the Legacy Armor Vault, which is protected, built-in artificial intelligence. If that client passes on, the beneficiaries are notified. And Sherry had a treasure chest buried under the house in Tamarack. Here's the address. Go get it when the client passes on. So that platform is awesome. Great way to make sure that your name is being branded constantly every time they log in. And for referrals, it's literally an endless supply if you use this the right way. On the bottom there, that's the ultimate door opener, the COVID-19 protection policy with SureBridge on our direct-to-consumer site. We're going to dive into the training. We'll do a demonstration. It's going to be awesome. That's Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you are on. Okay, our last slide here. I know we're running a little over. First time time we ever ran over, by the way. So I'm going to make that clear. No, I'm joking. We usually do this every other week. Real quick, I'm going to end with a positive note. This is our Positive Tuesday quote. I'm going to mention this, and then we're going to have our question of the day. Negativity simply doesn't exist when you consistently surround yourself with gratitude. Boy, is that true, and that comes at a great, great time. Okay, question of the day. Whoever is first to answer correctly, okay, so you have to answer first and correctly, wins the new Fire tablet. The question is, make sure your hands are on your keys. By the way, you can't email me the answer. This is all done through the GoToWebinar chat box. Make sure you see it, you're comfortable, and your hands are ready to go. Question is, if you partner with LSW through Levinson and Associates, you get 2 exclusive platforms. What are the name of those 2 platforms you get by contracting through Levinson to Life of the Southwest? I mentioned it probably 3 times on today's call. There's 2 platforms that you can get by working with Levinson, okay? One is a presentation system, and one is for your clients' children or grandchildren. You name them, you win. Joe, do we have a name and a state they're calling from?
We do. The winner is Gary P. from Arkansas.
Gary P. from Arkansas, congrats. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time. We'll see you Thursday, 2 p.m., same place. Thanks again. Great selling. Take care.